FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. This is Kerry Lutz, and it's time for another Triple Lutz Report. This is episode 362. The date is August 28th, 2014. First, let's look at the precious metals prices. Time is about 3:30 p.m. Gold, we're looking at a price of right in at $12.91. It's up $8 the ounce. Silver's up 14 cents. Still trading under the key $20 mark, $19.57. All this according to Kitco. Hey, look, if they wanted to smack gold and silver down, we're looking at the week of Labor Day. Holidays, always prime times for slamming down precious metals. They haven't done it. Why? I don't know. Obviously, it's not in their plans. What, therefore, is in their plans for precious metals? And if they're not knocking it down, that means at some point they're going to be letting it up. And why are they going to be letting it up? Well, they want it to go up. And so you really need to understand that the elites, the boys, the cartel, just understand them by what they do and what they don't do. So the fact that it hasn't been slammed down, it's gone up the past 3 sessions, means that as our good friend Jerry Robinson, his system put out a sell signal about two weeks ago. Price went down about $20, $30 an ounce from there. Not appreciably, not meaningful. It's a point where you wonder, do you buy, do you sell, do you do nothing? Probably I'd be inclined to be a buyer at this point if I were in the market. Especially couple it with what Martin Armstrong said yesterday, that first week of September is a time of increased volatility in the stock market, means the stock market could be going down, could be seeing money coming out of the market. Money comes out of the market, gets parked in cash, perhaps in assets that are perceived to be hedging against risk. Also, you see the A teams for the hedge funds for Wall Street coming back from vacation next week. And it's not pretty out there. A lot of bad trends underway. I tend to agree with Martin, though, that the stock market is the only game in town when it comes to paper wealth. That's where the money's pouring into for the next couple of months, probably for the remainder of the year. Funds are going to be pouring in there. He says for the first 3 quarters of 2015, until there's as he called it, the sovereign super crash, sovereign debt super crash. So maybe it's safe at that. Up until that point, can't really tell you. It's just so counterintuitive, and maybe that's all you need to know, is that it's so counterintuitive. I mean, this thing going on in the Ukraine, Putin, brilliant thinker, chess player, blah, blah, blah. He keeps doubling down, keeps sending more people in, more soldiers, and right now, the ebb and flow, he hasn't been doing that well. Will it turn around? I don't know, but hey, it's definitely getting interesting there. And we're going to see we're going to see that situation heat up there. Right now, the key is just to convey, the elites just want you to believe that everything is normal, that everything is going okay, and that you don't have to worry. They've got everything under control. And, Ferguson, something you need to look at. Martin Armstrong came out with a piece, basically said the facts don't matter, whether it was justifiable homicide or not on the part of the officer. It's really a meme. And, we use that word quite a bit here because really it's not so much the facts of what's going on. It's the meme, the trend. And the trend is that it's us against them. It's government against the people. And as Martin says, this transcends race, transcends black against white. And that's why really Sharpton and Jesse Jackson are losing their relevance here. It's really militarized police forces being sent out to subdue unhappy populations. And the other thing is Ferguson, it's a town of 22,000 people. The whole area that was under question is 4 or 5 square blocks. They're downtown that this group of mostly outsiders looted. And the looting never spread to more urbanized areas in St. Louis County, mainly St. Louis. The people in surrounding urbanized areas who were much worse off than the people in Ferguson never saw fit to rise up in arms. So you have to wonder if those people weren't too upset, then probably this isn't much of a big deal. But these militarized police forces, we've talked about them here before, the rise of the warrior cop. You can find it over on Financial Survival Network, on our Triple Lutz report back in Triple Lutz report 283. Talked about it back a year ago, July 23rd, 2013, the rise of the warrior cop and providing them equipment and firepower they need to keep order and to keep you safe. Maybe not such a great idea after all. So, by the way, if you want to support the show, you want to help us to help you thrive in this new economy, we've got a new podcast coming out next week about Bitcoin, everything that you need to know how to use it, how to buy it, how to sell it, how to hopefully profit by it. We'll have a newsletter on Bitcoin shortly thereafter. Then go over to clubfsn.com, clubfsn.com, and think about contributing. There's premiums. Get a silver dime. My book, Forget Wall Street, Go for the Gold and Silver too. Another premium, restricted content that members of the general public won't automatically receive, and a whole lot more. There's just great stuff there. clubfsn.com. Join it now. Also, going to be coming out with a podcast on local investing and local entrepreneurship coaching, helping you to channel your inner entrepreneur so that you can realize additional sources, additional channels of income so that you don't have to be dependent on a job that you might never be able to get, on a promotion that you may never receive, and basically to help you become self-sufficient and to become the entrepreneur who can make things happen. I've done it a number of times in my life. I think I mentioned, this is my 5th career, the only one I ever really liked and enjoyed. But finding your passion, and then once you find that passion, how you go about making a living from it, that's a little bit further down the road towards October, but we're going to be doing it. I don't know if you caught the show yesterday, but we really had some great things on it. Obviously, our interview with Martin Armstrong, always the highlight of any day. Really had fun with it. And we talked about his proprietary computer system called Socrates and his economic confidence model. And we had Heather Wagenhall on with us, and she's old radio hand, lives out in Arizona, but really hit it off well. She's an entrepreneur and business coach and writer, author, great person. Hope to do a lot more with her. Talked about the JFK assassination with Jack Duffy, which was a lot of fun. So things to talk about. And what's on the site today? You don't regularly go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. You really need to do it. There's just so much great stuff there. Special thanks to Stefan Banda, our unbelievable webmaster. He is posting articles from literally hundreds of websites. We don't use RSS feeds, which just can put up articles that are irrelevant and things that you really just don't care about. Take a look at it. I think you're going to enjoy it. I mean, every day there's thousands of you that go to this site and only go to this site because, look, article here from one of my favorite columnists, bloggers, Carl Denninger, market-ticker.org. And, he's debunking the concept that the stock market is cheap because earnings are going to grow. And he says the reason earnings are growing is because debt's going up because they're buying back their own stock. You know that. You've heard it many times. Hey, here's a funny article about why rhodium is better than gold. Look, you're not going to buy rhodium. You don't know what rhodium is. You can find it in your catalytic converter, or if you're an old-fashioned person like me and you have a fountain pen, some fountain pens use rhodium. Otherwise, forget about rhodium. I mean, go buy palladium instead. Palladium hit $900 an ounce today, which is pretty outrageous. Palladium's one of those things they use in a catalytic converter also, along with platinum. And, I'm looking at the price of palladium. The bid's $894. The ask is $900. One of those geopolitical moves as well. So think about palladium before you get going into rhodium. Something. These are thin markets. You don't know anything about it. Just think about it, okay? Good old Argentina. They are having problems. They're having one of their decennial currency collapse. The Argentinian peso is down the drain yet again. They got to just basically go on the Bitcoin standard. I think if they just adopted Bitcoin as their official currency, everything would be fine. And, just adopt Bitcoin. I mean, yes, they would have some unemployment in the country because all those guys who print the peso would be out of a job. I mean, think about it. If they just adopted Bitcoin as their official currency, man, think how much your Bitcoin would go up. That would be pretty amazing. And you could see the signs on the front on the shops all over. Bitcoin accepted here. I mean, how cool is that, right? I mean, wouldn't you just love this? I mean, it's just the greatest. And, hey, we got a lot of suggestions for turning around Argentina. They're close to anarchy anyway. So why don't we just forget about it? But, there's no hope for that place. Let's face the facts. They've been teetering on the edge, going into these currency collapses every 10 years, and nothing is going to rescue the place until they get real, which they're not going to. And just next door is Chile, which has been doing so well for so many years, following exactly the opposite tact when you think about it. And that is pretty remarkable. Just going for free markets and just letting people handle their retirement and all sorts of things like that. So it's a tale of two countries, a tale of two cities, a tale of one country that goes free market, guided by University of Chicago economists. The only thing they didn't do was actually have a currency backed by precious metals. And then you have a country that just keeps inflating, keeps monkeying with the economy, confiscating free companies, free market companies, confiscating the citizens' private pension plans, which they did in Argentina, and you see the results. Hey, interesting thing happened in the guns and ammo publicly traded companies. They're doing terribly now. Smith and Wesson just released their earnings. They were poor, and the forecast is real bad. I mean, how many guns is enough? It's like cars. Okay, if you have two drivers in the family and you each have a car, you got enough. If you have one and you each need a car, then you got to get another. Eventually, you have enough cars, demand is satisfied. It's like that with guns, except obviously collect them, they're cheaper, but eventually you hit the saturation point, no matter who is president. And, when you have 15 guns and there's one person, you basically say to the powers that be, whether it's the attorney general or the president, all right, I got enough. I got tens of thousands of rounds of ammo. Come and get them. Just try to get them. Just try it. And I think that's the point we're at in the United States now. I don't think anyone's coming for your guns. If they do, good luck. I mean, we'll all get together in the center square and, you dirty rats, just try. Ammo is also hard to get, but look, you've asked for it. We'll have Mark S. Mann, or better known as Marksman, on the show either tomorrow or next week, giving you a recap of what's going on. I got the advance warning on this, and that's what's happening. Maybe they got to have a sale, 2-for-1 sale. All you can shoot. I'm not sure what the solution is, but I do know that consolidation will take place and a lot's going to happen. So keep your eyes open on ballistic precious metals and on the gun market, because prices will be headed down. Maybe we need I was going to say maybe the government should be setting up a federal armaments administration to finance low-cost purchases of guns by the public. But then again, they had that. I think the Department of Justice was called Fast and Furious or something, so the cartels could buy it. I don't know, but something must be done. We have to keep our gun industry healthy, right? It's vital interest in the United States, the way I see it. But onward and upward. And interestingly enough, the oil and gas industry is doing great, even though the price has tracked back a little bit. A barrel of oil, West Texas Intermediate, trading under $100. First time in a few months that's happened. But we'll be talking with Mickey Fulp about that on the 29th, which is tomorrow when we do our market review. So we'll figure out exactly what's going on with the prices there. So stay tuned for that, because you'll see oil going down in the U.S. and in Europe as well. The Brent crude is also down. So don't know why that's happening exactly, with the fact that we have so much social unrest going on, but there's obviously a reason. And today, housing prices still going up, but not going up as fast as they were. In other words, somebody took the air out of the balloon. It's deflating, and we just got word that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is ready to send out some more rules on mortgage servicers, specialty rules, mainly if you're behind on your mortgage, you can keep your mortgage or your house, ways of reporting that. This Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, what did we need it for? It's an bureau, it's an agency with overlapping jurisdiction. They get involved in collection cases, in mortgage rules for mortgage grantors. They really don't have any area where they are the king of the hill. So they're fighting with the Federal Trade Commission. They're fighting with all these other agencies to, the Federal Home Financing Administration. They're fighting to get their little piece of the turf. And they've been issuing regulations. They've been suing law firms. And the fact is, that they've made it harder for you to get a mortgage. They've made it more difficult for law firms to sue people to collect money. But, they're chipping away at the edges, trying to make a name for themselves because they just came into existence. But the fact is, this agency should not exist. There's no purpose for them to exist. They are duplicating the efforts of a half a dozen other federal agencies that also shouldn't exist. And when you get down to it, they're doing nothing. I mean, personally, I'm involved in a case that they were gracious enough to file an amicus brief in that probably kind of reinforced indirectly our side's case, but whatever. They expended probably several hundred hours on that, and probably all for naught. They're really a useless entity, and they've got rulemaking authority. They can go to court and sue law firms and sue, but they've done nothing to advance their primary purpose, which was under Dodd-Frank to protect the consumer and to help prevent another catastrophe like 2008, 2009 from happening. Trust me, them promulgating rules that will help protect consumers from having their credit messed up because a mortgage servicer doesn't know how to report a payment on a mortgage that's defaulted is not going to do anything to protect the next meltdown in the financial system. I mean, this agency is useless. It needs to be shut down along with 2/3 of the rest of Washington. We need to have a fire sale in Washington on real estate. We need to fire all these people, get this place shut down, close it, and let's go back to the way things used to be, where Washington was a sleepy little town where basically it was a stopping off point when you drove from, New York or Boston to Florida. That was its purpose. I mean, and I guess you could get elected to Congress and you'd go there and steal all you could and then retire. And well, they're still doing that. Not much has changed in that respect, but get rid of these agencies. They're counterproductive. Maybe they've stopped a few 100,000 people from buying homes. Some of them should have, some of them shouldn't have, but instead, they've just stopped all of them. They've made mortgages more difficult for homeowners to get. At this point, I think you can pretty much figure out whether you should get a mortgage or not, whether you should own a home or not. And if you haven't, then you're pretty much hopeless, and there's nothing the government can do for you anyway. And you should probably just be forced to be a renter for the rest of your life. On that note, we're done. We'll have a couple of interviews tomorrow. Mickey Fulp will be on. We'll be doing our major market review. We'll be having Lou Rockwell on, which is going to be really great. Never had the privilege of speaking to him. I want to find out if he thinks whether we're wasting our time trying to further the cause of libertarianism, which is what I've been spending my life doing. But should we bother, or should we just go do the best we can for ourselves and wait for the collapse? Steve Simpson from the Ayn Rand Institute will be on, and we'll try to do some more as well. This is Kerry Lutz, been another Triple Lutz Report, signing off.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.